Okay, today we're going to cover some maintenance items for the Seca 550. I'm doing kind of a tune-up. We're basically replacing all the wear items on my motorcycle. These things just wear out after a while. I have very low miles on the bike, but because of the age, a lot of the stuff just needs to be replaced. So I'm going to go over each item. I'm going to give you the part number, I'm going to give you the price, and I'm going to give you the company that I bought them from. This video is being made November 2017, so as of this date, all this information is current. So let's go to my workbench where I have these parts laid out, and we will go over them individually. Alright, so the first item we'll go over is a petcock valve. My petcock started leaking, so I needed to replace the valve. I wanted the bike to be running the same day, so I had to call a bunch of Yamaha dealers, and no one had it, so I ended up having to drive about 30 miles to a superstore called Chaparral. It's in San Bernardino, California. They pretty much have everything, and they had it. The part number for this is 3H3-24523-00, and it is a petcock valve. You see it right there. Also, at the same time, I replaced the O-ring that goes around the valve control handle, and that part number is 3H3-24534-00. You do have to include the dashes when you're trying to get factory original parts from Yamaha. If you don't have the dashes, it's a lot harder for them to look up. But anyway, this valve here is just a little tiny piece of plastic, but if it's leaking, it could cost you a lot of trouble. This little tiny piece of plastic looks like it should cost just $1 or $2. Well, to my surprise, the unit price was $15.41. They gave me a little discount. It came out to $13.87. The O-ring that I already have mounted, I don't have a picture of that, cost $9.90, and after a discount, it came to $8.91 for a grand total of $24.60. I have the maintenance manual open here, and you'll see in the maintenance manual the parts that I replaced. Here's the O-ring here, and here is the valve, and here's the petcock unit. And the interesting thing about this is the same drawing that Yamaha has on their schematic when you go to the dealer and they look up the parts. Well, the interesting thing is, if you own a Seca, you know on the back side here there is a diaphragm that operates with the vacuum that allows fuel to flow to the carburetor. Well, I couldn't find anywhere where that diaphragm is located. And also on the bottom of this petcock, there is a couple screws that you can unscrew, and what that's for is I'm not too sure, but there's something down there, and that doesn't show up on the parts list. But for anyone that's not in a hurry and wants to save some money, you could get this product. It is Outlaw Racing Products Petcock Repair Kit. It has all the items you need to replace and repair the worn out items in your OEM petcock. It is item number OR2466. I ordered it on Amazon for $12.95 with free shipping. It came in about, I think it was like 4 days. And for $12.95, you get the valve, the O-ring that goes on the back, and the diaphragm. Considering that's $12.95 for all of that, it makes this Yamaha part that I paid $13.87 for look stupid. So I've looked at these, and they're pretty much the exact same items. So I would highly recommend going the Amazon route. That's much cheaper. When I put the valve in my bike, I put it back on, and I discovered that the back diaphragm is leaking. So I'm going to have to take that apart and replace the diaphragm now, and now I'll just have an extra valve and O-ring for 35 years from now when that starts leaking again. So that covers the petcock repair kit. Okay, next we will go to spark plugs. Why not just go right next to that? The original spark plugs that came on from the manufacturer were NGK D8 EAs. I picked those up from O'Reilly's. They're about $3 each, and those they work very well for me. So I just stick with what Yamaha put in because it works very good. Since we're on that subject, let me go to my my maintenance manual, and I will give you some information on those. So if we go to the tables for the spark plugs, you'll see that it says here NGK D8 EA. It has a gap of 24 to 28 thousandths, and when you torque them, if you want factory specs, you want to torque it to 14.5 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, so that should get you going there for your spark. Next item we'll go to is oil filter. The Seca 550 takes, in Fram, it's a CH6003, and this filter comes with 2 O-rings. Those are the part numbers. I'm not sure which is which, but one is to seal the oil filter cover to the engine, and the other is to seal the bolt that holds the oil filter cover on. And so those are handy to replace. They don't really wear out very often, but why not just replace them if you have them? Again, we'll go with specifications. On the bike, it is a 19 millimeter for the oil drain plug, and it is a 12 millimeter for the oil filter cover. And refill capacities: engine oil with filter change is 2.6 quarts, without filter change 2.3 quarts. And on the previous page, it has the recommended lubricants. Okay, so if you are going to be driving in warmer weather, they recommend 20W40. And now, since it's an old bike, they have SE as the oil specification. That's an old oil that they don't make anymore. All of today's modern oils outperform that SE, so whatever you get is going to be just fine. And it says if you're driving in cold weather, 20W30 SE. And interesting thing about this manual, let me go back here a couple pages where the oil is on here. Now I trust these guys at Climber. They're very specific in this manual. If you don't have one and you have a Seca 550, I would highly recommend getting one, because they go over everything, and you won't be able to get this information unless you just happen to have a mechanic friend, because this is good stuff. So let me find where that page is for the oil again. It's around here somewhere. Oh, interesting. Okay, so anyway, on the picture that they have, There's this old-fashioned can, but it's a 20W50. And I've run that on my bike before, and it works very well. So you just use your judgment on that and run what works for you. But I gave you the factory recommended lubrications there just a minute ago. Okay, here's a diagram of the oil filter cover housing, and those O-rings that I showed you a second ago there, this is the big one here. It seals this cover to the engine, and here's the filter that you of course hit, and here's the smaller O-ring that slips on to the plug, the bolt, whatever you want to call it. So put those on and you won't see no leaks. Alright, so what else do we have here? Okay, here we have the original fuel filter. It's just a basic fuel filter. It's yellowed from time, but it's pretty clean. There's a little piece of crust in there, but it didn't affect the flow at all. It still worked just fine, but because I'm doing pretty much an overhaul, I want to replace everything. So, couldn't find the original on that, and wasn't really interested in paying a lot of money for a factory original anyway. So, I found this Prime Line clear inline fuel filter, 1/4 inch, part number 7-02357-1. This was at O'Reilly's. It was about $3. It was an exact match. It's on the bike right now. I don't have it, but if you turn it over, it says that it replaces Briggs & Stratton, John Deere, Kohler. So it appears to be a gas, a fuel filter for probably a lawnmower. But I've driven many miles. Well, not many. I'd say 50 miles since I put it on, and haven't had any issues with it. It works just as good as the factory original. So, recommend that. $3 at O'Reilly's. And while I was there at O'Reilly's, they had fuel line, this 1/4 inch fuel line that the new fuel filter went in. It's about a little over $1 a foot. You only need less than a foot of it. So I replaced that also. The other one was getting hard and brittle. And then they also had, this is my original vacuum line that goes from the petcock to the intake boot, intake boot. So from on the carburetor, and that was like about $1 a foot. And so I replaced that while I was in there too. And the last item I have here on my workbench is the air filter. I could not find original anymore. Of course, it's very old, so I found this online. And this, it's an MGO, race proven filters. Looks like it's part number 12-94410. Replaces Yamaha original equipment number 4U8-14451-00. And if I open it up, you'll see it looks just like the original. And haven't installed it yet because it just came the other day. But see, it has pretty much the same things that the original has. Nice and clean. My other one is really dirty. Has the foam to give it a nice seal. So to me, it looks exactly the same. I don't see any reason why you would spend all that money on the original when you have this that's just as good. So what did I pay for that? That was $14.05, and that came from a company called SpeedOutfitters.com. They're from Elkhart, Indiana, and like I said, got it on Amazon. Came in about 5 or 6 days for $14.05, free shipping. So good deals on this stuff when you shop around online. So Okay, that pretty much summarizes all of the wear items. If you have any questions, put in the comments below. I will be doing many more maintenance videos, and I plan on polishing up my cases. I've got all that technology from watching other YouTube videos, so I'm going to try that out, and I'm going to get this old girl looking like new. Alright, so check back soon, subscribe, and if you want to see some of those other videos that I'm going to be making. Alright, so you guys, talk to you soon. Bye.